So Luca, tell me about the Instructional Design Institute.
So that has been fun.
Yeah.
We're wrapping up the final week right now. So
Wow.
it's 7 weeks long, and we're wrapping up everything for week 7. And man, it's just been so cool. It's been a blast. So Instructional Design Institute, for those who don't know, was that as I kept on creating more and more content online, I wrote the book and the podcast, the blog, the YouTube channel, and everything else. Eventually, there became this moment of time having this epiphany that people are like, so do you offer coaching? Can you help me? Do you have courses? And I'm like, no, I don't. And then finally I was like, I should. All I do is teach people about instructional design via YouTube and everything else. Why wouldn't I do something to give you more one-on-one coaching and feedback and guidance and support and in a community? Let's put that thing all together. So I did that for a long time with what I call version 1, which was like a library, a membership model. You can go in like LinkedIn Learning, go in, pick whatever course you wanted, whether it was going to be about scenario-based learning, how to make a podcast, backward design, UDL, whatever. You can pick and choose your own kind of thing. Yeah. The problem I found with that is that the way that I love to be able to teach is much more of a cohort-based model. And when I'm able to do cohorts, I see so much more success because people are then working together at the same time. There's a real sense of community. It's not like there's a community, but everyone's offline and then randomly people sign on, like whatever. So I made version 2. I did pilot program, I did testing, and then finally I made a version 2 that basically walks people through instructional design, thinking about things from a higher education perspective, because there's a lot of instructional design content out there about corporate America and about freelance instructional design. There's not that many voices in higher ed, which is interesting because we have a huge field of instructional design, right? So I was like, why wouldn't I want to be able to have someone to go through this transformation about how to design learning experiences that would cater towards education or higher education and to have people go through it that way? So whether you are a newbie or whether you are a current instructional designer, which we have plenty of those as well too, from a variety of institutions, and come and take it like that instead. So started to do that, and people go through everything as far as for andragogy and learning about how adults learn, to talking about the research components and the analysis, needs analysis, things like that, to backward design, to UDL, to being able to design their own course, then being able to evaluate that course and their fellow peers. And then finally, you build out a real learning experience at the end, and it becomes a part of like a portfolio piece. So that is like the 7-week all-encompassing instructional design bootcamp that we've been going through. And now, as I said, we're in week 7 here, time of this recording of this podcast. And what people have produced is amazing. It is incredible to see the courses where some of them came in saying they've never done this before. They've never taken an online course. Like, this is all new to them. And then all of a sudden here they are designing these learning experiences that I'm like, that is literally what I would do. Like, you're doing the exact same thing that I'm thinking about, like a sequencing of a type of a learning experience to have like a reading, a video, a practice question, a discussion, an application, and all these different forms of learning strategies and whatnot. So I can brag about them for literally forever. So I'm going to stop talking because it is just so cool to see how much they've learned in such a short period of time. And then knowing that they can take that and then bring that back with them into their own journey as far as for being able to try to find an instructional design position or bring it back to their institution to say, hey, we can make our courses way better now compared to the traditional ways that we've done for years. So that's the Institute.
That's awesome. When does your next cohort start?
August 28th.
Okay.
August 28th, yes.
When should people try to sign up by if they're interested?
It's already, the application's live. So you can already go and fill an application. And there is an application, which I know that for some people it's like, why is there an application? But as you know as well too, Rich, as far as for being an instructional designer, is that that needs analysis section, as far as for learning about your learners and the target audience and about their goals and whatnot. I want to make sure that I can best serve people. So there's an application that's essentially like a pre-assessment of, tell me about you. What are your goals? What are your dreams? What are your aspirations? What do you currently know? Where are you looking to be able to get out of this program? Where do you want to go within 7 weeks? And that has been so helpful because then I can design the workshops and the activities and everything based around those goals, and not just saying it's a one size fits all model and like it's going to serve everybody, because that's not true.
Mhm.
There were some people who come to me and they're like, I can't wait to learn about storyline. I'm like, super. I'm not your guy. I haven't touched it in years. I have no idea. Like I don't use storyline. So I'm not going to say like, of course, come on in and we're not going to touch that. Like that's weird. So that point, which has happened, a considerable amount of people have said like, authoring tools is what I want to learn about. I'm like, don't like, we'll touch upon them, but there's better people out there than me to be able to teach you in that way. So for those thinking more about the educational world, the higher ed world, those who are in K through 12, and they're like, how does my skills transfer into higher ed and now serving adults? Here you go. Then yes, this is for you. So
yeah. Which brings me to my next question. So you work with a lot of people who are in the instructional design field, or they're looking to, get into that field. What work-life balance advice do you have for those people who are currently trying, like, they have their gig and like they need to keep doing it to pay the bills, but they're looking to gain their chops, to grow so they can transition into this other field. And also just for people who are already in that field who are trying to maintain that work-life balance.
So as someone with zero work-life balance, let me tell you how to do this. No, I'm kidding. So this is what I advise for people to do is for step one, understanding that something is not going to happen overnight, which there's a lot of things out there that will say like, this will be like that. And it can happen.
Yeah.
It can happen. Don't get me wrong. But usually this is a process, especially to acknowledging the fact that you're trying to be able to change career fields. I mean, that's not a simple process. Even if going from K through 12 to the higher ed space or corporate or government or whatever you want to be able to go into, there's still plenty of things that transfer over from one to another, but that doesn't mean that it's perfect. There's still other things you need to be able to build on. I think that most people are aware about that and they know it's going to take them some period of time. So then from there, what you want to be able to do is to set real tangible goals. So that way that you're going to be on track. So let's just say, hypothetically speaking, your goal is that you want to become an instructional designer within 6 months. Okay, great. What from there do you need to be able to do? Well, I want you to interview 3 instructional designers and ask them about what's one thing they wish you knew about before going over into this field. I want you to create a portfolio at the end of 60 days. I want you to buy this book and read the first 5 chapters and then to write down a summary about what you actually learned. I want you to go and to download a type of a trial for a learning platform and just to try to build something. And then you can actually start to see that growth and then know if you're on track or if you're not on track. Much like how for many people who want to be able to go down like this health and fitness journey, most people just pick a number and they're like, I want to lose 50 pounds. And then they don't do anything from there. And it's just like, but then like, how do you know if you're on track? Like, it's just like, you're kind of like this and it's weird. And that's not a real like sustainable or like healthy goal in the first place. You should be trying to like better yourself and health and well-being, whatever. But the point is that we can do much better job of breaking down those goals. And that way, when you're actually on track and when you're not. And then the other thing to be able to think about this too is think about your schedule. I mean, the way that I like to be able to do everything, because I have like 37 jobs for some reason, is that I like to have like one day of rest and not doing anything. I'm not online. I'm literally doing nothing but just zoning out because I can. Other days, it's the morning where I'm like hyper focused at work. And then evening, I'm kind of like, I'm not doing as much. And then other days is a scheduled day of like 100 miles an hour. You're going for it. You just got it. So planning out those rest days versus those like super duper active days, that's also really key to being able to do things so that way you're not going to become burned out or stressed, which most people do because they're trying to learn too much too soon. And also making a game plan. Yeah. If you're going to be able to try to think about, because right now, if you Google instructional design, how to become an instructional designer, whatever, you're going to read everything from Gagne to Merrill to Bloom's taxonomy to backward design to like all these different types of topics and theories and concepts that are super important, but no one tells you about how do you learn. No one tells you about how to deal with stress or changing your mindset, and that's key. I mean, I can teach you anything about instructional design. It's not rocket science. It's just designing learning experiences. Yeah. But if you come to me and you're completely stressed out and you hate everything and you're just not in the right mental space to be able to learn, it's all for nothing. Like what what are we going to do here? So you got to reprioritize. You got to help out yourself first. Then things can kind of fall in line. And then I can provide more tips about what to do to build off of that momentum and to build off of your wins. So that's a little bit of things right there.
Yeah. Building off the wins. It's good stuff.
Trying to. I mean, the other thing too, and this is like what we're currently doing right now as well too, is finding like-minded people.
Yes.
Hey, learning nerds. Hello. Like here we are talking about things, right? And you need that community. And one of the things that I've been doing for, I've been a part of this group now for probably 3 years or so is, are you a part of a mastermind right now?
I am not part of mastermind.
So a mastermind, even though that phrase sounds super icky, I hate the name. The naming convention just sounds super slimy, and that I'm going to sell you something for 9 easy payments of $9.99. It's just like, but what I found though is that you can build a community, but also then have your community, but then essentially break that down to a more intimate community to help you on a weekly basis with checking in, talking about wins, being able to figure out how to help you and support you when you're feeling down. That has been huge. And I found one years ago by reaching out to somebody who I heard on a podcast, and she had an awesome episode. I related so much to what she was doing because essentially she created her own version of, I didn't have Instructional Design Institute at the time. I was thinking about it, but she made one for nursing students who were literally going to school for nursing, but they weren't supported enough and they needed more help. So they enrolled into her boot camp academy, whatever you want to be able to call it. And that super helped her. And she was on a podcast episode talking about that. And I was like, hey, I found her email after the podcast in the show notes. I was like, I'm trying to do this exact same thing right now, but with instructional design. And she's like, I have no idea what instructional design is, but sure. Like, I'm a part of a group. We meet up every Tuesdays, 6:30. You're more than welcome to come. And I have been a part of these people, but this group of folks now for years. And inside of a group are 2 nursing professors, a realtor, and a rocket scientist.
Yeah.
Funny enough. Well, weather scientist, excuse me. I need to be clear, but worked at NASA, whatever, super smart guy. Right. And those are the people who I rely on for support to help me with whatever. They are my little community. That is, and if you can get that for yourself of other aspiring instructional designers to be able to share with you wins and tips and strategies and webinars and whatever else, it's all good stuff. This is all good stuff. So that is by far people, community, support.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Yep. Join us for part 5 as Luke talks about what he finds exciting about the future of instructional design.